Here with you this afternoon. And firstly, guys, I'd like to apologize for my absence yesterday. I just had a really big long week, and a lot of you guys commented that I looked very tired, and I was very tired, and I did need to take some time out just to recuperate and rejuvenate, and I guess just get my energy back. So my apologies for not doing my video yesterday as I normally do, but as promised, I am here with my video on no-fault divorce. That I did tell you I would give to you. Now, I actually did a video on no-fault divorce the other day, but YouTube took it down and didn't even notify me. When I actually went to my video, it said the video was removed by the user, and I know that wasn't the case because I didn't remove it, and I'm the user. So I'm just saying YouTube are kind of fucking me around right now. So who we got here? Danish Monk, what's going on, man? Ninja Nika says titty meat, my man. Misery Man says good morning. Dennis Smith says hey there, Sydney MGtow. MGtow Samson Strong says howdy. Hey, what's going on, Elvin girl? Okay, so guys, this is saying hey, what's going on, Avon? Welcome back, man. Justin, no-fault divorce is a motherfucker. I'm going to get right into that. Hey, Sweeney Rod, sorry I didn't reply to your email, man. I will get to that in the next couple of days. It's been super busy and super exhausted. So I've got a couple of things for you today. I actually have the stats on divorce all the way back from 1875 in Australia. This is from the Australian Bureau of Statistics for all states and the whole of Australia as a collective. What's going on, Awas Kamkwa? Man, you gotta email me one day and tell me how to pronounce that properly. So here we go. Now, here we go, guys. Check this out. So this is the Australian Bureau of Statistics, okay? So here you've got, back in 1875, there was only 9 divorces in New South Wales. They didn't have a stats for a lot of the states for quite some time, so I don't really know what it was. All right, I'll see how I go with that. So yeah, we've got some facts here. We don't have feelings, we have some cold, hard facts about no-fault divorce. Now, before I actually go through the trend of this, I want to let you guys know that no-fault divorce actually came into effect in 1975 in Australia. Now, when no-fault divorce came into effect in 1975 in Australia, it wasn't from the 1st of January, so it was part way through the year. So when we actually get to that particular point, it's not truly reflective of how many divorces would have taken effect in that year if it was for a full year. Now, you see the full effect of no-fault divorce coming into play in 1976. And before we actually go and look at these stats, welcome alpha gentlemen, exactly, facts trump feelings apparently, just ask any woman. Now, guys, before we actually look at the stats, I want to show you something very interesting. And I did look up the search results on both on both google.com.au and also on DuckDuckGo, because we know that Google's a bit cucked, so I wanted to get a bit of a balanced view. And even from Google, right? So hang on, let me switch to Google first. Here we go. Who initiates divorce? Women initiate divorce much more than men. Here's why. Who initiates divorce more often? Breaking point. Why do women initiate more divorce? 5 reasons. Oh, of course, Good Men Project. More like the Misandry Project. Let's open that in a new tab and have a look at that. According to every viable source on the planet, women do in fact initiate divorce more than men. For a married couple with children, women initiate divorce 2/3 of the time, with or without children. The number still hovers around 68.9%. That was fairly exact, right? Exact and intentional. Why do women initiate divorce more than men? Women initiate divorces more than men, but not breakups. Why do college-educated women initiate divorce 9 times more often? Very good question, Cora. I'm going to have a look at that. Why women file 80% of divorces? Now, let's not just rely on Google for that. Let's go have a look at DuckDuckGo. And would you look at that? Women initiate divorce much more than men. Here's why. Who initiates divorce, men or women? Divorce Law Blog. Most people would think that the majority of the divorces are initiated by men. Of course they would. But it's actually women. Funny that. Breaking point. Why do women initiate divorce more? Why do women file for divorce more often? Why do women initiate divorce more often than men? Women initiate divorces more than men. So, guys, I think we can pretty much establish clearly here that women are the ones that start most of the divorce proceedings. And would you look at that? Women are also the ones who get the majority of our shit in divorce proceedings. Interesting that. Hell's favorite angel, Mike, says no fault is a leftist scam. Exactly. And Alpha MGTOW says most common reason is dissatisfaction. Cry me a river. Absolutely. Now, so guys, if you're not familiar with the Good Men Project, it's basically a feminist-run bullshit project to get men to behave in the way that feminists want them to, which of course is against everything that biology has ever dictated. Justin Squire says, in the Herald Sun today, the femme media are trying to spruik nice guys are in again. Wahaha, nope, alpha fucks and beta bucks. Exactly. Okay. Let's go and have a look at what the Good Men Project has to say. These fuckers. 5 reasons women are more likely to ask for a divorce. Why would a woman want to initiate a divorce? Somewhere between reason 3 and 4, you'll see a trend. Oh, here we go. Let's skip through to reason 3 and 4, shall we? Let's see what the Good Men Project have to say. Reason 3. The idea of someone else. There are countless studies that indicate cheating women are on the rise. Surprise, fucking surprise. Here's one. It's interesting, but what I find more interesting is the reason behind the increase. Women cheat when their needs are not being met, and there are financial and familial reasons for keeping the marriage intact. Some cheat with a desire to be caught as a means of getting their emotionally absent husband's attention. Wow. In addition to this hotbed of information, it's estimated that 30% of wives who have not cheated have had a strong desire to do so. Well, imagine my shock. Whether a wife had something or the strong idea and desire of someone else, divorce will be something they will eventually initiate. Of course. Here we go. Women want an equal partner. So you mean that they want someone with a gender studies degree? Of course. Go back and check out my video on the Sydney man drought. Ties in very well with this kind of bullshit. Today, 67% of married women work outside of the home. In 38% of those cases, they out-earn their husbands. What's more, men do 9 hours of housework a week compared to their wives' 21 hours. I'm all out of stats, but hopefully I'm painting a picture for you. Women are not cool with having a partner that does not do their fair share. It's even worse when the disparity is not noticed or appreciated by their partner. Cool. So we know what the Good Men Project have to say about it. And I mean, the Good Men... Exactly, the Good Mangina Project. You nailed it, All Total Coaching. Danish monk. Love it, man, love it. So good. Here we go. And reason 1, men behaving badly. In the criminal infidelity system, the marriages are represented by 2 separate, yet equally important groups. The men who commit the crime and the distraught wives who discharge the marriage. Fucking wow. So the two people who initiate divorce are the men who committed a crime against a woman and the women who are the victims of the crime. That's what I've got to say to you, Good Men Project. Go fuck yourself. Has anyone else watched Law & Order way too many times? Yeah, me too. Hashtag me too. By the way, I love that women are developing a zero tolerance policy to cheating. Well, wouldn't you know it? Men developing a zero tolerance to cheating and going MGTOW, and we're suddenly the bad guys, and yet women are developing a zero tolerance attitude and they're the fucking heroes. Whatever. Interestingly enough, there have been recent studies that suggest men are more tolerant of infidelity than women. So yes, men are more tolerant of the bullshit that women give us than the other way around. Surprise, surprise. Oh, here we go. Reason 2, boredom. Women very often need more than their man can provide, especially when it comes to intellectual and emotional intimacy and a sense of adventure and surprise. There's a line in the film Love Actually wherein Emma Thompson's character says to Alan Rickman's character, "Don't worry, my expectations are not that high after 13 years of Mr. Oh, but you always love scarves." So here's the bullshit about that, right? Exactly. Riff Magos, men are developing a zero tolerance to blue pill cuck life. Exactly. So what they're saying is that women need more intellectual and emotional intimacy than men can provide. So you mean the emotional and intellectual intimacy that they can't give you while they're at work, paying for your lifestyle and providing for your family and your kids, and you're sitting at home on Facebook, on social media, on Tinder, and getting all upset about how, oh, he doesn't meet my needs. Well, if your needs are to have somebody who sits at home all day doting on you hand and foot and pandering to you non-stop, then maybe you need to reassess what your needs are and whether they're practical and whether they're realistic, you dumb bitch. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Fucking these clowns at YouTube are gonna flag this video and delete it and not tell me as well. You watch. I'll just keep doing more no-fault divorce videos because you know it's the truth, YouTube. You know this is the fucking truth. Hey, what's going on, Ted Flinging Limmer? Exactly, Harmonic Live. What about the cocks that let their women bring home other cocks? Actually, there's even an article on that. What's called? Let me see if I can find it. Unbelievable. We've got an article from playboy.com. Just did a quick Google search here. Sorry, DuckDuckGo search. Why do so many men fantasize about their wives cheating on them? And look at this. Wall smashed. A muscular middle-aged guy comes home with one of his friends. Nope, I don't need that. No thanks. Wow. Lucky cucky. Here we go. She gives the friend a once-over. He's even more muscular than her husband. His erection is nearly bursting out of his pants. She comments on its size, grins, and asks her husband, "Are you sure this is what you want?" He nods, takes a seat, and begins masturbating while his wife eagerly goes down on the other man. They proceed to have the hottest, loudest sex of her life right before her husband's eyes. So it appears that even Playboy has been overrun by feminists with the death of Mr. Hugh Hefner, which is very, very unfortunate. Here we go. Let's have a look at this. Why do college-educated women, aka feminists, initiate divorce 9 times more often than college-educated men? Well, mostly because college-educated men aren't complete cunts. They're actually pretty nice guys, and they try to do the right thing. Michael Rosenfield, a sociologist at Stanford, analysed data from 2009 to 2015 from a nationally representative survey comprising of over 2,000 adults aged 18 to 94 who were in a heterosexual marriage. Rosenfield found that nearly 70% of women initiated divorce, but this figure did not translate to breakups and dating relationships. While breakups and dating are almost equally initiated by either gender, women initiate divorces almost 70% of the time. In college-educated women, they initiate divorce in almost 90% of the time. Okay, men, did you read that? Compared to 70% of the time amongst the general female population, 90% of college-educated women initiate divorce when they do get divorced. So let me tell you something. If you're going to go get married to someone, if you're going to insist on it, if you must, do not ever get married to a college-educated woman. You are only shooting yourself in the foot. In fact, I can't wait to go and show you a conversation that I had with a woman who said she had 2 diplomas, 2 degrees, and 2 postgrad degrees, and therefore she was happy and successful. I'm like, bitch, you've just been complaining about how you're 33, aka wall smashed, and you don't have a man, and you want to have a husband, you want to settle down. Unbelievable. Exactly, shooting yourself in the face, not shooting yourself in the foot. Shooting yourself in the face is probably a lot more painful, and yeah, it is literal suicide. Why are women increasingly dissatisfied with the institution of marriage? These are the factors cited by these women. You may or may not agree. Oh, because they had less independence in the marriage. The husband tended to try to control them. Well, do you think it was maybe that they wanted to try and control the husbands, and the husbands just wouldn't put up with their shit? I think that's probably fairly accurate, don't you? Breakdown of communication. Rather than actually communicating, women feel men dismiss their efforts to fix things. When men finally realize their wife's about to initiate divorce, only then they take it seriously and try to change. But it's too little too late. Women feel lonely in the marriage and find out it's surprisingly easier to get romantic attention even at 50. Wow! So women think that it's easy to get lots of attention at 50. I got news for you. The wall is relentless and it comes about 20 years before 50. All right? Men tend to assume their plump, aging wives don't have options and just... Look. Men tend to assume their plump, aging wives, so they're admitting that 50-year-old wives are fat, don't have options, and dismiss any requests for romance. women usually have a strong emotional support network of friends. By the time she decides to move on, she's already discussed the situation and has mourned the end of the relationship. So the actions tend to be far more final. So what she's already done is she's already monkey branched on emotionally to the new guy. Unbelievable. Sergey, postgrad degrees in worthless directions like feminist, gender, and other crap. Exactly. Alpha MGTOW says, as I say, dating a single mother is like eating food out of a garbage can. Why would you want to deal with another man's discarded trash? Exactly. You know, look, there are very few good women left. Right? And even the few good women that there are left, good women, are very much subject to the laws of biology, right? And there are certain things that are basically universal across all women. They're just at different levels. And guys, I've got some... I've been hanging out for this for weeks. Tomorrow, Stand Up Men's book, getting officially launched. I'll be putting the link in my video tomorrow. You guys need to go check this stuff out, man. It tells you everything you ever need to know about female psychology. It is unbelievably mind-blowing. I can't even begin to tell you. All right, but you'll see when it comes out. But you've got to check it out. Honestly, you've got to watch in tomorrow's video and go check out the link that I put there. All right. My ex was shocked when I said the relationship was over. He insisted it had been a great marriage. When I reminded him that I had been telling him I was increasingly angry and frustrated, we had been having spectacularly nasty fights every 2 months for years. He said he thought that was just Alka being Alka. Well, it was just her being her, but it was leading up to something far more sinister. Now, I mean, I could go on all day with this, but let's get some facts and figures, man. And if you're in the box now, smash that thumbs up if you haven't already. Let's get this trending. I was actually very happy to see my own video recommended to me on YouTube the other day in my notifications. So that was kind of cool. That was a bit of a feather in my cap. I like that. So guys, this was the divorce stats from Australian Bureau of Statistics. So we started in 1875. We've got look, and in fairness, I didn't have the stats for these, so I've got the total of all the states, and it goes from green being the lowest amount to red being the highest amount. Thanks, Riff Magos. Appreciate it, man. Here we go. So we're moving through 1875 to 1901. And 1901 is the first year where we've got full stats across most states. So we've got 398. Let's use 1901 as a starting point, right? So let's move through exactly when they start to try to look better and start taking care of their looks, and when they want fake titties and stuff, that's when you got to watch out, because that's when they're going to leave you. So we're starting with 398, right? Here we go. Let's move on to, say, 1950. See this color trend getting increasingly red? So we get to 1950 and we're up to 7,358. So guys, in 50 years from 1901, you've gone from 398 at 1901 to 7,358. And so let's just do a quick calculation here, right? 398 and that figure divided by, so it's increased 18.5 fold. 18.5 fold, okay? Now I'm also going to utilize this for the next 50 years. So let's skip through to 1970. Let's apply the same thing. So it's increased 30-fold from 1901. All right, so divorce has increased 30-fold in 70 years. Now, okay, guys, I just want to point this out, right? So we've got 12,000 here. That's 30-fold on 1901. Now, go to 1974. This is the last year before no-fault divorce, okay? The last year. And we already know that women overwhelmingly, without exception, every single year across the whole entire world, initiate more divorce than men do, at the rate of about 80 to 90%. So we've got 17,688. The next year is 1975. Keep in mind, 1975 is not a full year of no-fault divorce, okay? But it's still gone up to 24,500. Now you can see the start of that red square for 1976, because that's the first full year. right? So 61-fold between 1901 and 1975. Now, guys, shit gets heavy. Almost triple 1975. And it's gone up to 159-fold from 1901. So between 1901 and 1976, right, which is the first full year of no-fault divorce, divorce rates increased by 159 times, a multiple of 159 times. Unbelievable. Now, let's look at the increase on this year, right? So equals that divided by that. So 3.5 times increase on 1974, which was the biggest year of divorce ever since 1901. And then a 3.5 times increase, right, here to here. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And then the next year it sort of died down to 45,000 and the 40,000. So basically the floodgates opened here and everyone got out. And then it leveled out at about 37,800. 39,200, 41,400, 44,000, 43, and it's been fairly steady all the way through, guys. Like, it's not getting too much more red, you know, a little bit more red. We'll go 52,500 in 1996. This is as feminism starting to ramp up, 52,500, 51,200, 51,300, you know, and constant, fairly constant, just above 50,000 all the way through 2004. So we don't even have the last 13 years of data, which I would love to get my hands on, because I think that would be even more damning. But guys, this is what we're dealing with. This is before the huge uptake of feminists in universities. This is before all of these entitled cunts. This is before the current narcissist generation that is fueled by social media and constant immediate validation, and this generation of feelings over facts women that can't handle the truth from their husband, right? The husband that provided for them, the husband that paid for them, the husband that sacrificed all his assets in the divorce process. Absolutely incredible. And guys, it's going to be I guess a long-standing project for me, but I'm actually writing a book at the moment, which I'm sure will interest lots of you. But for now, the book of the year is Stand Up Men's book on female psychology. I cannot wait for you guys to see this. Here we go. And I've actually got it here. There we go. Stand Up Men. Female psychology, habits and behaviors of women that no one wants you to know. Guys, this is dynamite. I'm releasing the link tomorrow. Go and buy it. If you don't, you're missing out on some of the most incredible content you could ever believe. Most incredible. All right, I'm gonna close that up. Now, guys, I've got a big day tomorrow. I do really need to go get some sleep. So I will be tuning out in a moment, guys. If you're still in the box, smash that thumbs up. If any of you got any questions for me about my video or about any of the data, or you want some of my opinions on no-fault divorce, would love to hear that. Menace Media, I've actually done a my NLP training as well, so would love to chat to you about that sometime. Sergey, Sydney, make it a hardcover so you can drop the truth on some simps and they'll feel it. Sergey, if I can find a publisher that will take me on, I think they probably will, because it's going to be quite balanced, but it'll be very insightful. I will definitely be seeing what I can do about that when I get to that point. So fingers crossed. Second. I was just jotting down Menace's email address here. Cool. Enrico says, has anyone tried to overturn no-fault divorce, bring fault back? Enrico, I think once it starts to become mainstream knowledge that no-fault divorce is actually a huge issue, look, I don't think they're ever going to overturn no-fault divorce, because you've got to understand, when women are doing the majority of initiation of divorces, and they're getting the majority of our shit from those divorces, do you think they're really going to let a law that basically absolves them of any fault if they've done the wrong thing in a marriage? Do you think they're really going to enable a law which essentially makes them be held accountable for anything. Hell no. Absolutely not going to happen. There's no way. There's no way that they will let that happen. Riff says, no fault divorce is the best sales pitch for MGTOW Red Pill I've ever seen. Thanks, feminist law fuckers. Exactly. Danish Monk says, no marriages, no more divorces. MGTOW for the win. 100%. Dennis says, blue pill simps never learn. The gash only has to flutter her eyes and he comes running like a loyal little puppy dog. I mean, look, obviously women are more than a walking vagina, for sure. But I totally agree that, a lot of guys are just a sucker for a woman who bats their eyelids at them and just come running like a loyal little puppy dog. And as Stand Up Man wrote in his book, women are not attracted to puppy dogs at all. What can you do? Riff Magos says, and it's amazing how these same men backstab each other men for the same vagina. Exactly. Guys, I don't think it's any secret that men stab other men in the back to get a taste of, a girl's vagina, or at least be in the draw to get a taste of, a girl's vagina. And I know that might sound like a very objectifying statement, but, it's more just a loose term. Obviously, just because we want access to a woman's vagina doesn't mean we're entitled to it, right? Just because women want access to our dick doesn't mean that they're entitled to that either. And this whole issue of consent is very much skewed against men and in favor of women. They can, I read in fact, I'm going to read you one of the comments from my channel that I just saw earlier. Where was this? I was just going through them from over the weekend. Here we go. And this was on my video about Christmas parties. A guy, Jared, says, a girl at my last job put her hand down my pants when I was filling my water bottle. The boss saw it, a woman, and my direct boss saw it, a woman. However, the following week, a man was given a first and final warning by all of their bosses. Regional manager, a woman, for harassment because he told that same girl she looked lovely a few times. Now, this chick was super hot, but the double standards and hypocrisy is astounding. They would abuse me in front of everyone in the office, but when I asserted myself, they'd get upset and I'd get a talking to. Ended up getting sacked because I didn't fit the culture. Events industry is for women and gay men. Stay away, straight lads. And this is the ridiculous thing. Women are saying, oh, there's a glass ceiling, we can't get to management. But it's like, okay, this guy is manager and the big boss manager and the regional manager are all women, right? There's no glass ceiling. There's no fucking glass ceiling. Let's cut the bullshit, right? There's no barrier if you work hard to getting those roles. Only if you're a guy is there a barrier these days. Thanks, Saint Swithin. I appreciate it, man. I'm not normally up this late, I agree, but definitely, and Menace Media says, stay away from aged care too. Too many trad cucks and turf femmes. Exactly. What else was there? There was another good comment that I read. I'm Australian. I live in northwest Queensland. Holy shit, you should come up here. The women are totally fucked. Literally, when you have 5 guys to 1 woman, it is horrendous. The disgusting, ugly women think they're entitled to a good-looking bloke. It's fucked. Yeah, it is 10:45 here, Justin Squire. Danish Monk, not so many women in the stone cutting industry. Exactly. They don't want to do the hard labour. They only want the cushy office jobs, which is why this whole affirmative action thing's so bullshit. And yeah, look, I mean, the message is clear, guys. Don't get married. Just don't do it. Not in the current framework that we live in, not in the current gynocracy. And, man, I am so wrecked. So wrecked. But guys, look, the stats are in. Divorce, the divorce stats, annual divorce stats, 50,000 a year comfortably. They've just exploded exponentially. In fact, I'm gonna go grab those stats. I want to see how many times it's increased since 1901 up till 2004. Here we go, guys. It's increased 400-fold. 400-fold since 1901. That's what no-fault divorce has done. And 80 to 90% of that, in fact, let's look at from AB1. So let's go B15 all the way through. So guys, this is, since they started doing recording stats back in 1884, how many divorces in Australia there are on record since 1884. Here we go. 1.7 million divorces. 1.7 million divorces in just over 100 years. The facts are in, men. The stats are in. The stats are there. Australian Bureau of Statistics. And that's just in Australia. Think about how many of those 1.7 million men got fucked in divorce court. Think of how many of those men didn't even get divorced because it was too expensive to do so. And they're still getting fucked with child support. Don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap. Haha. Appreciate it, Menace Media. I look forward to it. Look forward to you getting that gear. So, guys, don't get married. The figures are in. The stats are there. There's no debating it. We know that 80 to 90% of those 1.7 million divorces are being initiated by women. 80 to 90% in the Western world of those 1.7 million. Unbelievable. So, MGTOW Samson S. Strong says, without family society will crumble. What future is there? Scope Gaming, good man. I'm actually doing something very much the same. And men, as many of you who can become enterprising and find your own way and create a trust structure, speak to a MGTOW lawyer and a MGTOW accountant. I'm actually going to be, if there's any of you guys out there that are actually lawyers or accountants, any of you MGTOW brothers, please reach out to me, sydneymgtow@gmail.com. I want to actually get, and don't mention yourself in the chat, just email me at sydneymgtow@gmail.com. I actually want to start getting together MGTOW lawyers and MGTOW accountants that know how to keep money away from women, right? And not even so much how to keep money away from them, but just so that men know how to structure themselves to keep their assets in the event of a relationship breakdown, if you do choose to go into a relationship or if you do choose to get married. Because it's important that we hold on to what we work for, men. Because with no-fault divorce, the way that it is, there is no incentive for a woman to stay if she's bored. There's no incentive for a woman to stay if she's not satisfied. Right? Regardless of what the reasons are for her not being satisfied, there's no incentive for her to stay. And if she's going to walk away and take all your shit with her, are you really going to allow that? Or are you going to want someone who knows what they're doing and how to structure things? Be wary of changing law. Be wary of changing laws, ruining your schemes. Look, that's exactly right. That is true. That is very true. But by the same token, and Justin Squire says, if you can put your assets in a trust, exactly. You need to understand that there are certain things that can't just be changed, like trust structures, for example. If it's locked in a certain way, that can't necessarily be changed straight away. Like divorce law can change, in terms of distribution of assets that are linked to the man. But if it's in a trust, that's a lot harder to touch. So if you are a MGTOW accountant, you are a MGTOW solicitor, please reach out to me, sydneymgtow@gmail.com. I will be funneling anyone your way that needs advice on if they're going to get into a relationship on how to do that. Basically, just want to make sure men can safeguard themselves. All right, guys. Have a lovely night. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry it's so late, and I'm glad that I got to see some of you guys that I don't normally get to catch live. But I will be talking to you again very soon. And just remember, 1.7 million divorces, most 80 to 90% of initiated by women. Don't fucking do it. Peace, men.